What's going on, YouTube? Warstorm here, coming at you guys in their video today. Today I'll be updating my DDD deck profile for you guys. I know it's been quite a while since I've brought you guys a DDD deck profile. I know a lot of you guys have probably been, chomping at the bit to see my updated list, and with the new ban list, and I figured it's been well past time to get this deck finally updated for you guys. It's been kind of difficult to find a build I'm happy with, and it's by no means perfect, but I really do like this build, and I'll go ahead and get straight to it. Before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about a couple of extra deck monsters that aren't on the list, but I think are really good, which are Oracle and Felgrand. Oracle is a card I really didn't want to cut because I love the card. It's a 2800 body, which matters a lot, and when in a day and age where monsters' attack values aren't quite as big, outside of maybe the Bull Dragons. So I really do, and it can be relevant in time scenarios when you would be burnt, inflict burn to yourself, you'll gain life. So it can matter, but I just don't have room for it anymore. Felgrand is really good because it gives you a way to detach your DDs underneath it to then be brought back again during your turn, which does matter at times, but I just, again, don't have room for it. This is one of those decks I really wish Konami would increase the extra deck space. I really like Felgrand, but because there's another rank 8 I play instead, but I really do like the card. So to start us off, we have 3 copies of DD Savant Kepler. This is a pretty standard card for most DD lists. Upon normal special summon, it searches your Dark Contract, which is really, really good. It can also be, in a pinch, it can be a high scale for the rare times you do Pendulum Summon in this deck, which you do on occasion. So I do really like that respect, and it's just a fantastic card, being able to search out your, important cards. Then my favorite DD monster, in my opinion the best, is DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. This card is pretty dang insane in terms of what it enables. So it allows you, whenever upon being, its pendulum and monster effects both allow you to extend and allow you to bring things back from the grave, which is great. But on top of that, it contributes a DD monster to banish a card your opponent controls. Absolutely fantastic. The only other blade I play is one Thomas. I was playing the second copy of Thomas, but the problem was space is I just do not have room for it. And I really did try to I just couldn't figure out what to cut. In the end, you have so many ways to access Thomas between Gate and Electromite. I figured this was the best card to negotiate down from 2 to 1. I've always ran 2, but one honestly would probably be fine. And I did run it in the build I took to regional over a year ago, so I do find there's precedent for that. I really like, Thomas, though. Obviously, it allows you to, so many combos extend with Thomas, so definitely a card you need, but not something, I have room for more than one. The last 2 DD Pendulum monsters are Copernicus here. Copernicus is an amazing card. Whenever upon normal or special, it banishes any DD monster to the graveyard, which, a lot of them have either can be revived from the grave or have grave effects. Obvious, synergy is obvious. Then with the slimes, I have 3 Swirl Slime, the best starter card, and the 2 Necro Slimes. Necro Slime being able to Miracle Fuse from the grave is amazing, but I find that I really don't want it in my hand that much, and it's not something that's 100% necessary for every single combo, so I have it in here at 2. But Swirl Slime is your main play starter. It allows you to fusion summon from the hand and then banish itself to summon one from a DD monster from hand. Really fantastic. And then, of course, it wouldn't be a DD list without our 3 of our girl Lamia here. It's one of the best tutor monsters, honestly, at least for any archetype. Being able to constantly recur itself easily special summon itself by sending a Dark Contract or DD from your field is fantastic, and you want to see it all the time. Then for the, these are kind of the last monster lineup of the deck, which is the 3 Chronographs, the 1 Time Gazer, the 2 Dark Worms, and the 1 Gate Zero. So you might notice there's a complete lack of hand traps, and there's really good theory behind that because this is a super heavy combo-based deck. So you want combo pieces, not cards to stop your opponent. You want to go first all the time, and then your hand traps go in the side deck. However, these cards are just kind of the middle ground I found with the deck, where I wanted to have some Pendulum starter cards that allow you to get to your Electromite early, but not too many as to, take away the core of what the deck does. And Chronograph is obviously great because it can special summon, material things like, you can summon it, then special summon Lamio from your hand if it's sitting in your hand, and then you can go straight for your Meteor Burst Dragons, which is fantastic. And you really still need Time Gazer in the deck because this card will clump up your hand if you don't have it, so that's obviously great. And because the only card I think that destroys something is Thomas, so that's not really all that great. I keep going back on my Dark Worm ratios, but 2 I think is the perfect ratio for the card, and then the 1 gate 0 because it gives you a free Electromite pop, and you can banish it with Lord of Darkness. Pretty darn nice. Then for the spells, for the Dark Contracts, I have 3 copies of Gate as Dark Contract Gate and 1 Swamp King. I wanted to have another Dark Contract search with Kepler for those hands where I would have Kepler and Gate already in hand, so Swamp King kind of filled the role. It's actually really good because there's a lot of combos. What you'll do is you'll banish Siegfried, you'll send Siegfried from the field with Swamp King in order to special summon, Executive Genghis, for example. Then you'll bring back Siegfried with another special summon effect, so that's really, really fantastic. And Gate's obviously, searching any card in your deck, monster in your deck is really, really good for obvious reasons. Then, of course, the best boon we got for the deck is getting 3 copies of Called by the Grave back. I can't state how really ridiculous this card is, and I'm so happy to have it back at 3. It's not just hand traps. The fact that it stops relevant grave effects. It can disrupt the opponent in the middle of their combo plays and hits monsters out of the grave that are used as senders. It hits Ray and Grave. Honestly, it's so good. It may be banned one day, but neither here nor there. It's a fantastic card. In DDD, you should always play 3. Then 3 copies of Allure of Darkness along with 2 Pot Desires for our draw cards. I've considered playing 3 Pot Desires in this deck simply because you need to see combo pieces as often as possible. It's just, I normally just don't with the way that I build my decks, but you can definitely play 3 if you prefer. Allure of Darkness is an obvious staple in DDD. Not too much to say there. Definitely max out on it. Then for the final, some of the one-ofs for the final spells, we have our Sack Charge, a Monster Reborn, Dragon Shrine, and Foolish Burial. These are pretty obvious. You're sending Dark Worm with this. You're sending any DD monster you want in the grave or Dark Worm. Pretty good. The best extenders in the game. Soul Charge is a win button in this deck. Definitely have them in your list. Then for the extra deck, we have 1 copy of Heavy Metal Foes Electromite and 1 Mad King Archfiend for our Link 2s. Mad King is just the best generic Fiend Link we currently have. All this text on the card doesn't matter. You're playing it because it allows you to make summon sorcerers and it's easy to make. Electromite is still, obviously, it is at 1 now, but you didn't really need multiples in DDDs to begin with. You just really needed 1 to go off. And it's still a fantastic enabler for the deck. And I definitely think you should find room for it in some capacity for DDDs, in my opinion. The cards are amazing. Then for the Link 3s, we have the previously mentioned Summon Sorceress, as well as Zephyr Metaltron. So, Summon Sorceress, she's pretty darn good in this deck. Maybe not as good as I initially thought, but she's pretty damn good. So, being able to make this so easily, and being able to grab any DD monster, Fiend type monster from your deck, your entire DD lineup to extend combos is just brutally amazing. And you can also use her on summon effect to get a dead DD monster and give it to your opponent. So you don't necessarily have to have something pointing to it to go get the effect off. If you have a dead Kepler sitting in your hand, you can give your opponent the Kepler and then make something, and then you can use this to target that Kepler and then special summon it from the deck. It's amazing. And I found in testing I needed another Link monster because my fields get kind of cloggy. So I debated between playing, I could definitely play Yugioh, but I decided on a Metaltron instead because in testing it's easy to make. You can make it with Electromite and another extra deck monster, but you can also make it with Electromite down underneath Summon Sorceress. So, and you need the maximum amount of arrows you can get with this deck. So you can play Yugioh instead of this card. This was the best option I had on hand, but I really do like it a lot. Then for the fusions, I have 2 Genghis. I know 2 Genghis and 1 of our boy finally released Executive Genghis. So I'm playing this because of the rank 6, which I'll explain in a moment. But if you don't play the rank 6, this could definitely be Oracle right here. But these are some of your best extenders of the deck. They allow you to, typically you make this a bit into combo, but also the important thing to know is that this thing can negate a spell or trap on your turn, so that can be relevant if your opponent has. You can, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll shotgun into this if I think my opponent has a back row card that's relevant, especially against a deck like Sky Striker. Being able to gate their Widow Anchors or whatever kind of other disruption they might have is pretty damn nice. And obviously this can being able to grab another DD monster from your grave is obviously fantastic. Then for the synchros, we have the one out for the level 7s. We have Meteor Burst and Alexander. Alexander is still a pretty good extender, but I don't find myself making it quite as often, so it's definitely a negotiable slot. Meteor Burst, however, is one of the most important cards in your extra deck. Being able to grab Thomas or Ragnarok from your extra deck and then being able to proc their effect. I think it'll be even better when we get Gilgamesh, plus the effects to cut off battle phase effects can be relevant against Sky Striker with their rays, and the occasional burning of this player you can run into. Then for the level 8s, I have 2 in here, which are Siegfried and Crystal Wing. I would probably play Borolo Savage Dragon when we get it in a few months, but these are currently the best level 8 synchros you can be playing. Crystal Wing is still brutally amazing, and it's still definitely worth an extra deck space, and Siegfried is, obviously a fantastic card at negating spell cards. Then for the extra decks, so this is the aforementioned rank 6, which is Wave High King Caesar. So if you're unfamiliar with what this card does, it basically is sort of like a solemn warning on legs. Whenever a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated that includes an effect that special summons a monster, you have a quick effect to detach material to negate that activation, destroy it, and then it can make another DD gain attack until the end of the turn. So it's like an 1800 up buff, I believe. So that's pretty insane, because if you have this and Siegfried out, they'll both be sitting on 4,000. The main thing you care about is that it negates monster effects. Now, why does that matter? Danger is a thing, and they all activate in the hand, so they have to go. You're gonna cut them off from 2 summons of danger monsters in a turn. And that's pretty big, because they'll have to have either more ways to extend and summon to force you to get rid of this, and when it does bite the dust and go to the grave, it serves as a dark contract. So pretty fantastic card. Then for the rank 8s, we have the 1 Photon Lord, the 1 Hope Harbinger that finally got the super rare, and the 1 Kali Yuga. So Photon Lord's a pretty interesting card, but this isn't ran for the same reason our boy Caesar is that it can negate monster effects that not just on the field. So you can use it to negate danger effects in the hand, which is pretty damn nice. And that's the main thing you care about. It's also a 3,000 body, which is pretty darn good. Then, of course, you have Titanic Galaxy, DDD staple, and Kali Yuga is one of the best monsters ever printed. Being able to play into a board and just negate everything against Sky Striker, drop this, and just blow up all their back row and leave them so far behind is absolutely amazing and can be so brutal. So let me know what you guys think of this DD deck profile down in the comment section down below. And as always, I thank you guys for watching. So Warstorm, signing out.